All right, Logan. Well, thank you for joining me. Just kind of tell me a little bit about yourself and kind of how you got to where you're at in the Mariners organization right now.
So I'm a right-handed pitcher in the Mariners organization, like you said. Went to Penn State my first 2 years of college, and then ended up transferring to the University of Pittsburgh,
Hmm.
where I was drafted in the 12th round this past draft. And then everything kind of just started rolling from there. Went to rookie ball and then finished up in low A, and now I'm out here for spring training.
Gotcha. So, how was your body feeling at the start of the offseason versus where you're kind of at now?
Start of the off season, I felt like I went into it with wanting to gain strength, but also addressing issues with my back.
Hmm.
I felt like just little things that I would do, like play golf or go shoot hoops or just little activity like that, nothing crazy, would really tweak my back. And obviously, I found your Instagram
Hmm.
and wanted to just work on my posture and just had an open mind with it just to see kind of a different way of training my body would and see how it react. So honestly, my biggest thing was addressing like the little injuries I'd get on my back, my hamstrings at the start of the off season.
So, when we first met, you kind of talked about you felt like your body moved better when you were doing mobility work, like you had when you were in college. So, how would you kind of compare the posture stuff that you've been doing to other types of mobility work that you've done in the past?
I feel like honestly, posture therapy is more simple than the extraneous like mobility stuff that I would get that I'd have to do for 30 minutes a day.
Hmm.
And it honestly correlates to baseball, like we were just talking about. Like the more simple I could make baseball and the more simple I could make my mobility, I felt like my results like became greater.
Hmm.
Um, so that's really how I'd compare it. And then everything's just free flowing. It takes like 10 to 15 minutes a day. So
Hmm.
pretty.
How do you feel like understanding what was trying to happen with changing your posture and how that was going to impact your back? Do you feel like those two things kind of helped go hand in hand in making this process go a little bit faster because you understood what was really trying to happen inside your body?
Yeah, when you broke down like after my first initial meeting, I was unaware of plenty of things. I mean, you made a video on it, but my knee was bowing out. I was like rounded shoulders, which I should be sitting better right now, but I was rounded shoulders, just like things I was really unaware of. And when you kind of broke it down to me, I started to have the conscious mind of like sitting back and then this. And then when we started working over time, it was like I didn't even have to think about it anymore. It was just like, I don't need to try to make my back feel better. I don't need to try to make my posture feel better. Like I just do your exercises and then it just starts my day off on a
Body
good start.
naturally is able to do it for itself without you having to try to consciously do it.
Exactly, exactly. And which I would like to mention, because I'm not sure if we'll touch on this in questions, but you see so many times during training nowadays, especially at the younger level, like forcing these positions to get on the mound or when you're hitting.
Yes.
Like that's just not the way to play baseball. It's not the way to live your life. Like you can't be consciously thinking like, oh, I have to have a perfect posture right now. I have to get in this position.
Mhm.
Like when you start to do what you've given me and things and taking care of your body, you don't have to start thinking about this stuff and your results will just be great.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think about that a lot because at least when I think about a coach telling a kid to get into this spot, well, first of all, can the kid even get there? Because if he can't get into that spot, then you're just wasting all the time that you're trying to spend making him move in a way that his body won't allow him to, when we can try to set it up to be able to get into those positions to be more effective later on.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, how long was it before you actually started to feel any results? Because when we'll touch on it later, but when I was going back and looking, I was like, damn, we really only saw each other like 4 times, and the results that you were getting were crazy from it. So, I'm kind of interested.
Yeah.
When did you feel like you were really starting to notice a change?
Well, I mean, even after our first session, like we took the before and after pictures, like, wow, this is like insane. And
Mhm.
then I would say, um, when we started probably working in the start of December,
Yeah, it
was
was
it?
about middle to end of December. I think it was December 20th is the first one that I've gotten here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. So honestly, when I came out here after like my first week, which would have been around January 11 or 12, is when I started to really notice like my back never hurt. I
Mhm.
don't really get as sore as I've been, and my results were just like skyrocketing. So it was really quick and it was really effective. And um, it almost sounds surreal, like after the first session, but I'm being like so serious. Like it like was after the first session, it really opened my eyes.
So when you say like you felt like the results were starting to happen, are you just talking about strictly velo gains, or what are you ultimately talking about in results?
Well, I feel like my results in velo was the result of my body just moving better. Like that's what kind of what I was touching on is like my body was moving better. I felt more aligned, like I felt like in balance
Mhm.
instead of like I said, like my back, like I feel like I was like slouched like this way. And you could see it in my pre and post pictures, but
Mhm.
um yeah, just my body felt like more natural, I would say.
So after, because one of the biggest things that I struggle with people is they start to feel better or they start to achieve the results that they're looking for, and then they just stop doing their exercises, and
Mhm.
then things kind of go back to how they used to be because
Yep.
you're no longer providing the stimulus to your body that it is really craving. So how
Yeah.
are you able to kind of push past that? Like, I got what I wanted, but there's still more at the end of this tunnel. How do you kind of continue to go down that?
Yeah, I feel like I would definitely say that at like 3 weeks into what we call shove camp, or like it was like practically before spring training, I
Mhm.
felt that plateau. Like I was like, I'd been doing my exercises, but I definitely like slacked a little and I just saw like my results kind of just go from like trending upwards to just the same thing, that plateau. But I just really had to commit and know and realize that like when everything was going well, this is what I was doing. I was doing the posture therapy. And then I started to slack a little, and that's when my results slacked. So like my results on the field were in hand with the posture therapy. So I was like, it's an easy equation. Do your posture therapy, the results on the field will take care of itself.
Well, that's awesome to hear. So one of the things that I can already envision people saying is like, well, the results that you're getting aren't just from posture therapy. So like what kind of other things were you also doing this off season to incorporate? Because when we were talking about sitting 93 at the start of working to each other, a couple weeks later you're sitting 95 and then popping 99s in the spring training game that you got into. So what do you kind of attribute everything together, or is it just kind of certain pieces that you think made these results happen?
I break it down into a simple thing like I've always kind of done a plyo routine. I've always had like your average to above average throwing program. Obviously, being in a pro organization helps with that. But I would say the two things that I really focused on this offseason that I added to my pre and post throw was posture therapy, and then I did 3 different exercises with a med ball
Mhm.
warm up prior to my plyo balls. And that's really it. I wouldn't say I reinvented the wheel on the mound in my mechanics, and I didn't change some crazy lifting schedule. And it was just really simple. I've touched on that word a lot, but like I just feel like once everything started to roll, it was just so simple. And just adding those two pieces really took off with my results.
Creating a plan and following the plan. That's the hardest part is you don't know what to do, but then once you figure out what you need to do to see the results that you want, you just got to continue to follow it and no matter what.
Exactly. Exactly.
When you get done with your exercises, how does your body feel? Because some of the things that I hear most commonly are I feel lighter, I feel taller, I'm moving better, but like what to you is that internal feeling when you get done with your exercises?
Balance. That's the one word I would say is balance. Like I just like feel like everything's moving exactly how it should. Like I'm just like standing there, I'll be talking to someone and like I just feel my feet like perfect and balanced. Like yeah, I'm not feeling like I'm swaying one way or swaying the other, or I just like feel perfectly balanced. And that's really that's the feeling I get.
Scale of 1 to 10, how likely would you be to recommend posture to other athletes, whether they're professional or just youth guys trying to take that next step in their development?
Definitely a 10. I mean, I'm not just saying that because I've been working with you, but like it's really changed my outlook on like how my body's moved.
Mhm.
And if you have a decent grasp on like pitching mechanics and just throwing, like this is like the little thing that's going to take you from the 90 to the 93, the 93 to the 95, like the 95 to the upper nines. Like I truly believe that. So I would 100%, and I already have recommended it to people. So yeah, I'm just for sure 10.
Awesome. All right, Logan. Well, I appreciate your time, man. Thank you and best of luck this season. I'm looking forward to seeing your success.
Thank you. I appreciate it.